Welcome to this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have Sheila Carroll, pediatrician and certified life and weight coach. And she is dedicated to helping children achieve their best health. And she does this by working exclusively with parents who are willing to focus on modifying their own behaviors to ultimately improve their child's health. Welcome to the show, Sheila.
Thank you, AJ. Thanks for having me on.
You are welcome. We are welcome. And what we'll be talking about is very, very important, how to create a healthy lifestyle. And we'll keep focused on the children part, and especially from the holistic family health part. So my first question to you, Sheila, is that why do we think that weight gain and the lifestyle that we have is such an important issue today? Because weight gain has been there for quite some time now, but in today's time, why is it important? Why we should be talking today about it? And why is our lifestyle at this point in time so important that we need to talk about? Is if we don't do anything, what's going to happen about it?
Yes, well, it's super important, especially for kids who are now experiencing some of the disease processes that only adults used to face because of the lifestyle, decisions and choices that are being made for them. So, they're anywhere between 20 to 30% of kids. This is US. I'm in the US, so this is US data. And it's from several years ago. It's even pre-pandemic. But there's 20 to 30% of kids are considered to be overweight or obese. And they're struggling. They're having a hard time. And what we're seeing is that kids are suffering emotionally, number one, and number two, physically over time. So it's important now to take some action to try to help kids, make some changes, learn what they can do, learn what they can step into as they age so they can create the healthiest lifestyle for their long lives, their hopefully super long and healthy lives.
Absolutely. That's why I asked it in a different manner, so that that whole importance of especially children's health comes out. Now, to understand this problem, Sheila, is that who is responsible for this problem? Is parenting not happening properly, or is it that children have become much more irresponsible about their health? Is it, how do we take it? Is it the peer pressure to go for junk food and or their taste buds, or what is happening to the children today?
What's happening to all of us and to children, but to even us grown-ups, what's happening is we are a very ancient human body that has been evolving very slowly over time but we're living in a very modern time where the food that we're being served and the food that's being created and sold to us is so different now than it used to be even 50 years ago. So the reason we're having all this problem, in my opinion, the main reason we're having all of these problems are the water. It's basically the water we're swimming in, the culture we're swimming in. Our bodies weren't designed to eat these highly processed foods that make us want to keep eating them, and we want to keep eating them, and we're not even feeling full because the nature of the food that's created doesn't give us what we need. Our bodies need to even understand that we've had enough. So I don't blame the parents. I don't blame the children. I it's all about money and who's making the money. And, I mean, really, why does Coca-Cola even exist as a company? The damage it's created to humans, it only exists to make money for whoever owns what. I don't even know who owns this Coca-Cola, but so that's the problem. So the good news there is that what you need is education, and you need to understand, oh, my body, my brain, my old brain, my very, caveman brain loves sugar. It helped keep me alive over millions of years. And but today, in today's world, I still have the same brain suggesting to me all the time, go eat that. Go eat that sugar. Oh, that's sugar. That's so good for you. You should eat that. We just can't do that. So we need to know, like, what's actually happening, how the foods are affecting our body, and so that we can make conscious choices. And here's the thing, AJ, kids, because they're young and because their brains are not fully mature, the prefrontal cortex, like the most thinking part of your brain, that doesn't fully mature until you're 25 or 26 years old. And that's the part of the brain where you kind of are able to plan for your future, make decisions, for your best self. Kids kids' brains aren't wired like that. That's why they are so impulsive and do things in the moment. I have an 11-year-old son, and he sees something and he's like, I just want that. And I'm like, yeah, but it's not good for you. And he's like, I don't care. I just want it. And so this is what us parents are battling. We can't expect our kids, because their brains don't work that way. So what parents can do, that's why I work with parents, because that's where the biggest bang for the buck is, helping the parents understand, what they're in control of, what they can create for their child, and understanding, how our brain works and our body works in our current modern food and sedentary society. And,
Right.
yeah.
Right, Sheila. So you have put it very well, and in fact, a lot of these problems have has a commercial angle to it, and a lot of people who are profiting from it will not think about you. They will think about the numbers, and a
Mm.
lot of people who are also investing in companies which are pushing sugar into our diets, pushing more and more processed food into our life. So unless we start becoming conscious towards it. Now, coming to then the solution part. Now, both as a parent, as you said about as a mother of an 11-year-old, and secondly, you work with a lot of parents. So how do you tell your children or child that, listen, this has to be done in moderation? And second thing is, even from a parent's point of view, if they are conscious parents, but then the children are not listening as they must, then how do they start bringing that nutritional part of the food into their diets, that even if they are consuming a bit of these processed foods or the colas, that gets balanced out, and in due course they start educating them also at the same time, that, listen, this much of processed food is not good. These are all, it's okay to have some time, maybe, or
Yes.
when you are going out for a party or a picnic or something like that, maybe 15 days, 1 month or something, but not as a regular. So how do you tell parents about it to include good food into their children's diet, as a whole family? And secondly, how you deal it at your own home in terms of dealing with your child?
Mm. So, yes, I love what you said, including the whole family. Sometimes, because everybody's body processes food differently, two people can eat the same food, and one can gain weight a lot more easily than another person. So, definitely, if you have a child who is struggling with carrying extra weight, my advice is don't single that child out. This is a family approach. And frankly, the truth is, even if you're a very thin person, you shouldn't be drinking Coca-Cola all the time. It's not good for you, or the sugar and the processed food. Inside your body, metabolically, those foods are not great for you. So taking weight out of it and really focusing on health. And so as parents, we do this for so many other things. We make sure our kids are wearing their seatbelt. We're not offering our kids alcohol at home when they're 11 or 12 years old, So parents need to get very committed to understanding that the healthy lifestyle, so we're talking about nutrition, food choices, sleep, the right amount of sleep, a good amount of movement every day, moving your body, and then learning some emotional regulation skills. Those are the things that are going to create a healthy lifestyle for the child. And it starts with the parent, learning all of those things and doing all of those things themselves, modeling the behavior you want your child to see. And that your child's always watching you. My son is always watching me. And sometimes he says things I say and I'm like, oh. And so it is so important to model the behavior that we want our kids to see, understanding that no one's perfect. There's mistakes there's not even, we shouldn't even call them mistakes, but it's just doing the best that we can every day, trying to, stay as healthy as possible. And when our kids make choices that we don't like. So, it's very different if I'm working with a family of younger kids where parents have a lot of control, and like, oh, we're cooking this, we're eating this. These kids are not going, they're not driving, they're not, going to the store and buying stuff, but teenagers are. And my son is just getting to this place where he can now bike around. He has a bicycle and he bikes around town, and sometimes I find wrappers in his pocket, and that's okay. But what I'm really trying to do, play the long game, as a parent, I'm educating him like, yes, that candy or whatever choice you made tastes really good right now. I understand why you want it. And I just want to let you know, this is what it's doing. This is the problem with eating it, and so over time, as they age, they'll already have that understanding. And when they get to the place where they really understand that they are fully in control of their lives and their own choices create the results of their life, then they'll be like, oh, I already know what I should be doing, And so even though it can be super frustrating for us parents when our kids are, making these choices that we would prefer they didn't, my advice is just accept that choice. I can't control my son 24 hours a day, and I don't want to, and that's not my job as his mom, so I want to accept him fully as he is right now and try to just guide him. And I have confidence that over time, if parents do this, then number one, they'll have an amazing relationship with their child, because what our kids want from us is connection and love. And when they look at us, they want to see, we want to be reflecting to them our 100% acceptance of them as they are. We don't need them to change in any way. We accept them as they are.
Right.
So,
right.
yeah.
Right. You are talking well, and you are actually bringing out the issue well enough, and that's why this discussion is going on well. And now talking about the families part, you have a group coaching program, Healthy Habits for Families. So what do you talk about in this program? Tell us about this, so that more families, if they want, they can join this particular program, group coaching program, Healthy Habits for Families. And secondly is, do you also include like anxiety, like how to deal with social media in today's time as a family? Because a lot of children are a lot of time, on social media. uh,
Mm.
so how do they, because mental health is also very important, and weight gain and all those issues together, how do they make sure that together it becomes a healthy body, healthy mind, and healthy family together as
Yeah.
well? And then that's how the healthy lifestyle can be achieved. What do you tell us a bit more about your group coaching program?
So, um, the all of these problems that you're mentioning, like anxiety, um, yeah, anything over social media, like, all of these things that us parents struggle with, they're kind of a similar. They're all very similar in a way, whereas we parents are really needing to understand where our control is in that situation. We want to be able to control our kids, and most of us, kind of think that we can, but the truth is we really can't. And we can guide them, we can influence them, but the only person that we can control is ourselves. And so that's what the coaching is so wonderful and really empowering and freeing, because when you realize as an adult, like the thoughts that I'm having, my thoughts create my feelings, and my feelings are driving my actions, what I do and what I don't do, and that's creating the experience I'm having. So if I'm thinking, like, for example, for me, like my son, he shouldn't be on his video game that long. He should be doing this, he should be doing that. And I'm getting, so when I have all of these thoughts, I feel so frustrated, right? So, but I have to realize this is where the magic is, and where the power of coaching is understanding my son's not creating that frustration in me. I'm creating my own frustration by the way I'm thinking about it. And my son is he's just playing a video game. If I happen to think a video game was amazing for him and super healthy and it would be the most wonderful thing for him, I wouldn't be feeling so frustrated. So this is what I love about coaching. It shows you, like, oh, I'm in control of my own experience. I don't have to be frustrated that he's playing video games. As the parent, I I do have some boundaries or control over this. I'm like, okay, you have 1 hour, and then we're turning the TV off, and then that's where my control is. And then I don't have to, and then when 1 hour comes, I turn the TV off. He might be really frustrated at that point and he might be really angry, and I can help him with that. And that's, as parents, what we do. That's, as parents, what we need to do is help our kids tolerate those feelings of frustration, anger, what all of the hard ones that are hard to tolerate. But in coaching, so parents bring, you know, what coaching is you just talk about any problem. You can bring a problem, like, oh, my child, this whole thing happened. And then we look at, okay, well, when your child said those words to you, what were you thinking? And then, we go through this thing called the model: thinking, feeling, then the acts, and the results. And so it really empowers parents to understand where their power is, and it improves the experience. So I don't have to wait. I don't have to get upset and ruin my day that my son is playing video games. It's freeing.
Right, right. So how do people know more about you? What's the best way to do that? And secondly, how can people, especially parents, connect with you so that they can be a part of this Healthy Habits for Families program, and be
Yeah.
in touch with you so that they can get the best out of you?
Thanks, AJ. I have a website, SheilaCarrollMD.com. And you can email me through that website, but it's Sheila at SheilaCarrollMD.com. I'm also on Instagram. Just learning how to do that as a 50-something. But people can reach out if there's any questions, or and I have a blog on my website that has some, I'm hoping, some good information for people. And so those are the best ways to get in touch with me.
Wonderful. I'm sure a lot of people will benefit from the blogs, all those resources you have on your website. And I'm sure a lot of people who need to connect with you will certainly do that and, get help from you professionally, as well as, in terms of knowing more about what better can be done in terms of better parenting, so that families lead a better and healthy lifestyle for themselves. This note, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Thank you.